listen, if there's anywhere I'd rather be stuck in right now, is Dubai.
Are you seeing some investors backing out or some investors being apprehensive in the future growth prospect of this region and of the country? Have you ever thought of, or has it crossed your mind to just leave and, come back later? What are your thoughts on the people who've just, at the first instance of trouble have just walked away?
Good riddance.
Welcome everyone to a new episode of Dubai Uncovered. Today we have a very, very interesting guest with us, and for the first time we're bringing in the element of real estate and macroeconomics of Dubai into our podcast. He's a very dear friend of mine, and his name is Mohamed Souk, and I'll give the floor to him to introduce himself, and we'll take it from there.
Hi, Waseem.
Pleasure meeting you again.
Nice to meet you. How are
Welcome
you?
to the show.
Thank you very much. So, my name is Mohamed Souk. I'm the Chief Operations Officer and partner in Sakina Real Estate Development. And we also have a fund that invests in anything that is backed by real estate.
Yes.
So both of these companies are Sharia based and Sharia compliant. And basically our motto is debt free. So we kind of work with that.
Okay.
That's mainly our business model.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So I'll just pick a point that you mentioned before we started the podcast. You traveled for 15 hours
Yeah.
to reach here. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I was in a very interesting situation. So I flew into Kuwait to carry out some personal things, and then I had to. I think 2 hours later, after I exited the departure airport, it got bombed.
Yeah.
So it was literally 2 hours. So I came out, 2 hours got bombed. So I have nowhere, like the same place I stepped out of.
Oh,
It was very interesting, yani, subhanallah. And then I was like basically stuck with no airport. And I told my wife, and I was like, listen, if there's anywhere I'd rather be stuck in right now, is Dubai. I don't trust any other country or any other place to be in other than the UAE. So I literally found a private driver that drove us back from Kuwait to Dubai. It took like 15, 16 hours.
wow.
In the middle of the entire mess. It was the second day. It was the first day. So we traveled the second day. So it was just like complete craziness. But I don't know, subhanAllah. I mean, when you've been in this region long enough, you kind of like, you have a very high risk tolerance.
Absolutely. And that's a very reassuring message that you just said, that UAE is the only place you'd rather be in this situation. It
Without
says
a
a
doubt.
lot about the country.
I mean, we're still here. We're still carrying business as usual. Obviously, we're pivoting. We're doing things a little bit differently, but we're here to stay. We have nowhere else. We planning on moving our headquarters to, and we said it over time and time again. We trust the leadership here on a very high level. So I think we're in good hands. Obviously, there are some things that we cannot control, but I think for the most part, things are, alhamdulillah, yani they're much better than anyone thought they would be.
Okay, great. That's good to hear that.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
What was your first reaction to this whole situation that came about?
I mean, to be honest with you, it was a bit shocking. Obviously, we're used to things like that happening in the Middle East, especially in the GCC. Every now and then, like there are some issues that occur. So I wasn't that stressed out about it because I've been through something similar before. So my initial reaction was just stay calm and not to act or cause panic, whether at the company or in the household. Why? Because a lot of things, sometimes when you act like based on just immediate reactions, you kind of cause more damage than good. And sometimes it's just better to like maintain your calm and just tread carefully and just evaluate the situation properly. And you also need to understand where you are. So because we knew that we're in the UAE, so we kind of like understood that we're in a much better place than any other country. So we honestly did not change anything, whether in the company, it was business as usual. So we carried on with our projects. We didn't change anything. We continued with our fund. Also, we didn't change anything. So both of them are still running exactly as they were from day one, but we're pivoting in terms of asset classes that we are investing in.
Fair.
That's the only change that we're doing. But other than that, honestly, nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing.
So from your fund side, are you seeing some investors backing out or some investors being apprehensive in the future growth prospect of this region and of the country as a
Yeah,
whole?
the fund is still about to get launched right
Okay.
now. So we do have, investors that were initially planning on, allocating specific funds. They obviously have a lot of questions, and they obviously have a lot of, I wouldn't say hesitance, but they want clarification.
Yeah.
Because most of our investors or the ones that are working with us have already been familiar with the market for a long time, so they know what it's like.
Yeah.
This is not something new to them. So generally speaking, I would say that yes, they had a lot of questions and a lot of let's say clarification that's required on are we going to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And we obviously have our own risk strategies. We have our own risk assessment. So we made sure that we clarify to them that we will be investing in things that are, let's say, conflict proof. We are going to be investing and deploying our funds, or whether developing real estate, in things that are conflict proof, such as the necessities, food, warehousing, cold storage, all of the things that are directly affecting the supply chain. In fact, we would probably go as far as saying that this will be kind of like our contribution also to the security, on the to the national security of the government of Dubai and UAE as a whole, is to really double down on investing in those things, so that we can kind of like be a part of a group of companies that will help make Dubai or make UAE as a whole reach almost I would say a self-sufficient state.
Nice.
Which I think is probably going to be more important than ever after this this conflict, because there's a lot of things and a lot of priorities that are going to be rearranged, and we would love to be part of that journey where we not only develop, but we also even put skin in the game. And making sure that we are part of that contribution to a country and a city that has given us a lot.
Okay. So your fund believes that the industrial and the warehousing sector of specifically real estate will be a much more lucrative opportunity than your traditional commercial and residential segments?
In the short term, absolutely, yeah. I mean, residential is always going to be there, obviously. And I would say that I would go as far as saying that in the short term, probably, but then residential would also still be required, but I would say maybe the more affordable residential rather than the luxury.
Yeah.
Luxury, I think at this point of time is probably gonna go through some adjustments.
Right.
It's still very much in demand. The people are so, but maybe the demand has changed a little bit. So I would say that our focus would be yes on that, in that particular order. So I would say in the short term, on the things that are affecting the supply chain directly, warehousing, logistics, food security, etc. And then I would say affordable or medium scale, medium class accommodation.
Residential accommodation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. During this whole 3 weeks that we've been in this Gulf War, so to speak, have you ever thought of, or has it crossed your mind to just leave and come back later?
Absolutely no. I got asked this question today in one of the calls with our investors. I'm like, unless someone shows up at my door, honestly, I'm not really going anywhere. I mean, I'm a Canadian citizen. I'm originally Syrian, but I have Canadian citizenship. I could have been in Montreal right now. I have our property there. So, but like, it's you. When you decide to start a business, and when you decide to carry out and execute operations in a specific country and to grow in that specific country, you either all the way in or not. You can't, if you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, you're never gonna reach your full potential. And because your focus is going to be scattered, your energy is going to be scattered, and obviously it just means that you have probably interests elsewhere, and you have priorities elsewhere, which is, it's fine. But for us, we've invested a lot in our fund to launch it. It took almost a year of approvals, due diligence, and we've also invested a lot of fees in having this, launching this fund.
Is it DIFC registered?
It's ESCA it will be ESCA registered, so Securities Commodities Authority. And the second thing is that we have our businesses and our families here, so I cannot, if I, like, it never even crossed my mind, because I need to be 100% focused in the jurisdiction of where I'm carrying out my business.
Yeah.
A lot of people are trusting us. A lot of investors are trusting us. A lot of customers are trusting us. So I have to lead by example.
True.
And I have deep roots in this region, whether on my side or my wife's side. So it makes no sense for me to look elsewhere. And at the end of the day, honestly, like, I'm going to talk on a personal level, this is also when your true masculinity is tested. If you're a type of guy that's wishy-washy and that's just...
Absolutely. You want to just...
like, that's
leave
just...
at the first...
exactly. You bounce at the first hiccup, then...
it doesn't really show good character.
Not to your family and not to others.
Absolutely.
Too. And people stop taking you seriously. Imagine if I had done that. How would I look like in front of my investors, in front of other people that have entrusted me? Like, it's just...
they wouldn't trust you in the long run.
Like, it would be also, I would say, very selfish, in the sense that I'm thinking first of my own personal priority, my own personal safety, my own personal benefit, rather than leading by example and just, keeping calm
Steadying the ship
keeping calm until things really unravel, and the dust settles and we understand really what's going on. So that's why for us, nothing has changed, and not planning on going anywhere, not now, not tomorrow, not anytime in the near future. God forbid if something happens and, like, there are people at my doorstep, then I would assume it's World War III.
Exactly.
Then it's going to be crap everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's not
That's a
nobody's
different
safe.
Situation altogether.
Exactly. But I went as far as saying that if there's anyone in the Middle East, if there's any government or leadership in the Middle East that I trust the most, it would be here.
Alhamdulillah. Yep.
So
Absolutely.
I think I'm betting on the winning horse, and I would like to think that it's a good bet.
No, it is, because the picture is very different for people living here, working here, and the people who are hearing these fake news on media, especially in the Western media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's for different reasons, obviously, because especially, for example, whether it's in the UK or other countries, there's a lot of jealousy, and they're losing millionaires by the hour that are shifting and transferring their funds here. So obviously for them, it was an exodus of millionaires and ultra high net worth individuals that decided to come here.
Yeah.
That,
but it's you and me who understand this. There are a lot of people in the Western world who don't understand what is the right reason and what is the right news.
But that's their problem.
I'll show you an example. I don't know if I should be saying the publisher here. It is a completely made up story.
Yeah.
The article, and it was posted yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you must read the comments in this.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the comments are very spiteful. I know this because even on my other podcasts that I come, because we have been like running a series and speaking highly of Dubai and what they have done, etc. There is on the cultural and on political level, there is a deep sense of jealousy and superiority that comes from either the West towards people here.
Yeah.
And it's embedded on a corporate level and sometimes on a personal level. So people feel very righteous to be critical of everything that's happened. And the same exact thing that's happening right now happened in, if you remember, I don't know if you were here in 2008,
Yes.
when they were making fun
Yeah.
of like Dubai. Oh, it's a ghost city and it's such artificial city and this and that and stuff. And like, I mean, it's very frustrating and it's very annoying, but there's a saying that we have in Arabic, إرضاء الناس غاية لا تدرك. Well, basically it translates to that reaching, like, to keep people satisfied is an endless and unachievable goal.
That's true.
You can never
satisfy.
so you can never satisfy. So sometimes you just have to let it play out and just focus on your craft, focus on your work, and at the end of the day, this country or any other country is going to be built on the shoulders of the people that decide to stay and contribute. Again, in fact, maybe the best thing that came out of this conflict is the fact that it filtered out all of the
process.
all the people that are not supposed to be here, the people that were causing a lot of speculation in the market. Now, I'm not going to talk about the superficial stuff because there's a lot of low quality people that should not have been here in the first place. But obviously, you cannot stop it. It's a free country.
Absolutely,
people come in and out. It's absolutely normal. But specifically the ones that were causing disruption in the market itself, that were causing a lot of speculation, and basically kind of like the ones that I described that have a 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the door. So they just want to make a quick buck. So they want to flip a property or flip a land or try to like
sell watches or XYZ,
whatever it is. I speak specifically of real estate because this is my bread and butter. Those are the ones that were really ruining the market because they never had any intention of actually building a legacy. And this is what differentiates us. So if I had to answer your question correctly earlier when you said, have you ever thought of leaving? I mean, if I'm here to build a legacy, then what's the point of me leaving, right? It's how am I going to achieve that? For us, we're here to build a legacy. We're here to make sure that we can create a company that lasts, for several generations, and also a company that proves the economic concept that you can really build with no leverage, debt-free, and Sharia compliant. A lot of people have negative connotation about Sharia compliant economic models, but really all that it is, it just eliminates usury, and it eliminates conventional banking that makes richer people richer and the poor people poorer.
Okay.
Right? So it's not an equal risk sharing economic model. Sharia compliant a business model is exactly that. So it's a risk sharing economic model, and would like to really see that being successful because it shows that when you follow such an economic model and you expand it and you compound it, you could actually create something really good where everybody wins together. And it's not a disproportionate type of winning where someone makes 10 million and you get like,
500,000.
Yeah, exactly. Like a piece of it. It doesn't work like that. Obviously, the more you put in, the more rewarded you are.
Yeah.
But up to like a certain limitation. It shouldn't be so much to the point where it causes such big disparity that you find that
one person is working for the other, essentially.
Not just that, but you'll find that 1% of the economy, you find that 90% of the economy is controlled by 1% of the people. Yeah. That shouldn't be the case. And this is what we're trying to promote, which is a good, healthy economic model.
Brilliant. Coming back to that the faith in the city and what we've are all going through. You think, what are your thoughts on the people who've just, at the first instance of trouble have just walked away?
Good riddance. Good riddance. I mean, I say that in an emotional way, but obviously everybody has their own risk tolerance.
Yeah.
Some people are good people, but they have very low risk tolerance. Yeah. Those ones, it's up to them. It's their choice. But I say good riddance specifically for the ones that are just here for the high times,
short term,
and are just here for the short term, and they don't really care about contributing anything to the city, and that are just looking at short term gains. So in my opinion, Probably this is maybe one of the best things. I mean, if they leave and never come back, it's actually even better for us because it allows us to really have proper organic economic growth with the ones that are actually really here to stay.
But do you think that will affect the economy in the medium term?
And the
Short
short
to
term,
medium?
of course.
Yeah.
In the short term, of course. I mean, it's absolutely, it's something. But then again, what country doesn't go through economic fluctuations?
Absolutely. That's the nature
What
of business.
country doesn't go through political fluctuations? People talk about what's happening in Dubai as if it's something that doesn't happen anywhere else. I mean, you've got the same issues that happen anywhere. You name any country, you've had at some point in time some sort of political or economic fluctuation, and this is just the name of the game. If you have not experienced it and if you're not willing to experience it, that's your choice. But if you're ignorant of the fact that it never occurs, then and you start making it seem like it's just related to Dubai only, then that's a problem because that's not the case. Things like this happen everywhere all the time, and it's just about who's willing to weather the storm and who's not.
Yeah. How long do you think that Dubai or UAE as a country will take to get back into the momentum? For example, let's assume within tomorrow the issues are sorted and we have a deal. Yeah. And what do you think to get back to the momentum that we were maybe beginning of the year? How long of a time period do you think?
I mean, it's a good question, but it would be very difficult for me to put a timeline on it. But let's say, for example, if it ended tomorrow, I would say that tourism, generally speaking, comes back gradually. So it takes a little bit of time, maybe up to 2 years, 1 to 2 years. Because, for example, when there were all these issues that were happening, I'm trying to remember, was it Turkey, the bombings, the various bombings? Yeah. It took almost, 1 to 2 years, and then things went back to normal eventually. So it takes a little bit of time. And I would say naturally, real estate follows after. So it would take a little bit more than that. So what I would say is that, let's say the medium one would, like the medium level real estate would probably come back much faster because it's just, there's always demand for it. People are always going to be working. The economy is always going to be running. Tourism will take a little bit of time, and yeah.
But don't you think that the price correction that everybody is expecting from the first day the bombing started, that's really not materialized? Yeah, for a lot of these buyers who are sitting.
It's way too early. It's way too early.
But we're seeing a lot of sellers being very, very resilient in this market. They're not panicking. They're not just dropping their price at anything.
I'll tell you. I mean, obviously, we've seen some changes and some impact, but I would say the reason that I would say it's too early is because there's not enough data.
Yes.
To really study the actual impact. So what we're saying is just based on our interpretation and hearsay,
and conversations
we have people in the market. But I would say that the first people that are going to be caught with their pants down are the ones that were reliant on a lot of debt and a lot of off-plan sales.
Off-plan sales, yeah.
And the ones that are just betting that the market is going to continuously have upside, which I've always said before that it's never the case. There is always a point of saturation.
It's true.
In any economy. And if you have not planned against that, then that's your own problem, right? Because
then it's not the business or the country or anything. It's your own personal strategy issue that you've not priced in that.
So that's a choice that you have made, and obviously that choice is something that you either accept that it was the wrong choice, or I mean, honestly, you just have to accept that it was the wrong choice. There's no other option, because that's currently the situation that a lot of developers have found themselves in. They were way too optimistic, buying at lands at really high prices and thinking that magically the market's just going to continuously go up. It's never the case.
So what, according to you, are the first instances that will happen in terms of the real estate market? Let's keep our focus on real estate for the next 5-10 minutes. Yeah. With your experience and your expertise, what do you think will be the next stages when it comes to developer sales? As if you were a developer right now, sitting on inventory, what would be your approach in bringing the buyer back to your table and doing the transaction?
It depends. That's the thing. So I would probably, to answer your question in specific, I would probably be offering refinancing structures. So this is something that just to keep them more comfortable, to keep them more like to give them more leniency.
Okay.
I would offer
better
that.
Payment plan.
Yeah.
You mean to say?
Yeah, definitely. Better payment plans, refinancing structures, etc. So anything along those lines, that's the first thing that I would do. Or if you were like me and you haven't sold yet, you just wait and you launch at the right time. I mean, this is what we're doing. We're carrying out construction business as usual.
Not all developers are in your position, right? You need to launch. You paid for the plot. Yeah.
We paid for the plot. We have a plot. We're sitting on it. We're delaying the launch. We're just at the. But that's also because we're fully funded. So that's the advantage of being debt free.
You don't rely on off-plan sales.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't rely on.
Wait till how much time do you think is a reasonable amount of time from now?
I would speak purely from a construction point of view. So let's say for me, what's my most critical path on the project? It's my skeleton, right? It's my construction, because once that's done, then I can finish the project. Either I can finish it high end, I can finish it low end, or I can finish it medium, right? So that's for me to reach that point, I would probably need at least a year and a half. By then I would have a very good idea of where the market is, and then I'll put my project in the market fit that's that's suitable for that
for that point of time.
Yeah, for that point in time, exactly.
But you realize that you are that 1% of developer who doesn't rely upon off-plan sales for construction. 90 to 95% of the market, wherein the developers rely upon off-plan sales in order to execute the project.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong.
But when you rely purely on it, this is where problems start, right? When you rely 100% on it, and when you are like completely just thinking that it's going to be upside all the time, this is where the problem is. So yes, we're definitely part of, I would say, even less than 1%. So we're in a very unique position. But this is exactly the point. This is why debt-free Sharia compliant business models are kind of immune to these
fluctuations.
To these fluctuations, because they allow us to really be able to carefully tread until the market, corrects, or until the market recovers, without having that pressure or that, let's say, that push that we need to we need to sell, we need to do. No, we can change.
You can pivot your strategy.
We can pivot. Exactly. Yeah. So alhamdulillah, this gives us a good advantage, and I hope a lot of people will start following this business model, because it's a great business model. Honestly, not business, I would say economic model. I wish
that will reduce the number of the amount of inventory that comes into the market, because not everybody will be able to fund projects like that.
True, but I have we also will obviously have to do off-plan sales. That we can do that, but we won't be 100% reliant on it.
Probably you'll come to market where the project is 50% complete, rather than coming to market where you're just acquired the land.
Yeah.
And got your RERA escrow.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's where, exactly. Because I mean, if you finish the structure, that's almost 50% of it, of the project life cycle. So
your buyer can actually look at what he's going to buy.
Exactly.
Essentially.
Exactly. Yeah.
It gives you a very, very good position in the market, a very advantageous position as a developer.
Yeah.
Wherein you can welcome the client,
Yeah.
make him see the product that he's going to buy. it gives them a lot of confidence that yes, the project is going to get executed, especially in these time. Yeah. Whereas there is some sort of a loss of confidence from international buyers. Not the local buyers. Local buyers know we're very well secured. But a lot of international buyers, they don't know the real rules and regulations out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is happening with the passage of time, a lot of people like myself are trying to educate these international buyers is that your money is safe. Projects are going on as per schedule. You need not worry about that. But that's a time consuming process and it takes time. So by the time the international investor comes on board back again, according to me, that's going to take about 6-9 months for you to have faith in the city again, and for the real estate off-plan sales market to start again.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah. I mean, maybe sometimes I'm a little bit more pessimistic. I think it might take longer. But that's just because my nature as a person, I'm generally a pessimistic guy. So I tend to think that things take longer than because I come from a construction background. If someone tells you it's going to be finished tomorrow,
It's not going to be like
it's not going to be finished tomorrow. You know, it's going to need 2 or 3 days extra. So I always account for whatever time you give me times 2 or times 3.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, people forget that Abu Dhabi government and Abu Dhabi sovereign wealth fund is one of the largest in the world. The largest in the world.
Fund, yeah.
I mean, it fluctuates between that and Norway. So they're never going to allow the market to fail or collapse, no matter what. So God forbid something happens, they will obviously, interfere. They will obviously do a lot of things that will help revive and make sure that the economy stays on track. And it is on track. I mean, there's nothing that has changed. All that has changed, in my opinion, at least, is just the craziness that was happening before, because it was just so it was unbelievable amount of demand. So now it kind of just is just being more realistic.
But I see a silver lining in this.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's also a lining.
You see, over the past 1 month, or so to speak, 3 weeks, you've had considerable reduction in the number of launches that have taken place.
Yeah.
Yeah. What that will do, that effect you're going to feel 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that is essentially this launch would come into the market 3 years from now.
3 years, yeah.
So the oversupply overhang that we had, I think to a lot of extent, that will be cleared.
The oversupply was coming. The oversupply, my prediction was coming in the point where there would be a lot more supply in the market than demand was in October, November.
This year?
This year. I made it very clear on various podcasts. And
my calculation was middle of next year.
Yeah. It was only a point of time. So obviously real estate agents and ones that really don't understand the economics and market and things like that, and they just don't understand cycles, they would tell
It's never going to come.
Because they just want to sell, right? They just and plus you also have
you can't blame them.
Yeah, they have limited knowledge. They have a business to run. They just want to sell whatever they want to sell. But we knew that at the end of the day, it's just a normal market cycle. So whatever happened right now was already going to happen anyway.
Anyways, yeah.
In October. So this is exactly what I'm trying to say. What happened now just accelerated the inevitable, which was going to happen at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Which means that it was something that was obviously going to... For some people, it was going to come as a surprise. For a lot of us, it was just the natural process of any real estate market cycle. So right now, we believe in the market so much that we're still here. We're still going to deploy funds. We're still carrying out our projects. So for us, it's business as usual. So it's not like we're saying that the market is going to correct. It's just going to correct. The market is not going to correct. It's just going to correct. Exactly.
Which is healthy. It gives you more leg room for future growth.
And that's exactly how some people exit and enter the market.
Yeah.
A lot of private offices here know this very well, and they were planning on entering the market at the end of the year because they knew that's when they were going to be able to snatch up some good deals.
True.
None of them None of the good family offices were buying anything in the last year and a half to 2 years.
Yes.
None of them. Because they knew, they were well informed. They've been in the market for decades. They've seen the cycles. They understand the market economics. They read the data. They know when to come in and when to exit. And that's exactly what we were doing too. Yeah.
So the initial assessment that you had about this correction in, say, October or end of this year, how long had you assumed in terms of any?
I would say that I've known this for about a year and a half or more. From last year, I've been, or even more actually. I would say that's 2020. I would say 2024.
2024.
Yeah, because we already knew, like, the population growth is X, the supply is Y, and how many people are staying on average in each household. It's just simple math.
Numbers.
It's just numbers. That's it. And you can tell, obviously, also I have good contacts that are able to provide me a little bit more details about credible information about like tourism, rentals, car rentals, عقودي,
إيجاري registration.
إيجاري registration. So I would say, alhamdulillah, fortunate enough to be well informed, to know that from 2024, this was coming.
Okay. So if I'm an investor, your advice right now would be hold on for another year and then reevaluate, or be mindful and open your eyes and look at deals right now that's available.
I would say just be mindful and be selective on where you invest in, because as you said, every market situation has pros and cons.
Yeah.
And every market situation you can make money even in times of crisis. So you just have to pick the right people to invest with, and you have to basically choose what you invest in. So I would say just be selective, be mindful, and go with someone that's trustworthy and that understands the market.
So there's no worry as such, even if you're investing maybe tomorrow, but if you look at the fundamentals of the market, if you look at the right people you're associated with, you're
exactly.
absolutely fine with that.
So choose the right company or the right person, select the right product, and enter at the right time. I would say those three.
What is the right time?
Exactly. If you're asking me that question, I would say, for example, right now, as I said, anything that's covering or that's involving the main supply chain would be the right time, because now would be something that...
No, if you're talking purely from an investor's perspective, who are used to the comfort of commercial or residential real estate, they're not as sophisticated as you are in terms of investing in industrial or warehousing opportunities, which are not per se as for retail investors at the moment. So if you're advising a retail investor who's looking to build a portfolio out here, what would be your advice?
I would say wait until the end of the year, until all of the projects, or even mid next year, until all of the things that were supposed to come to market, the supply that was supposed to market to actually come to market. And then you're going to have a lot more a lot more supply than demand, which was the case anyway, even before. Regardless of whatever is happening in the region. So that would be my advice.
That's a fair point. But then again, it gives me back that belief that according to you, there won't be any construction delays.
There, yes and no. Some projects, some developers are very keen on delivering them and just basically just focusing their energy
on that project and executing that project.
Exactly. Some projects might be a little bit delayed. Obviously, there will be some delays, but it all depends on each developer and his capacity, and each contractor and his capacity. Some contractors are better than others.
Yes.
And some developers are better than others. So some of them might be a bit delayed. Some of them might be quite delayed. I mean, in Dubai, you get contractors that are like AAA quality, and you get contractors that you wouldn't even trust to build a bedroom.
Yeah.
So it also depends on the quality of who you're dealing with and their financial capability, right? Because contractors that have good financing, that are able to manage their operations and logistics properly, will be able to navigate a lot better than a guy that just entered the market a few years ago and doesn't have the proper infrastructure. So I would say it really depends. There will be delay, yes, but it will definitely be different from one contractor and one developer to another.
But not a lot of the market is going to go through delays. A certain small portion will go through delays.
Exactly. For the most part, and as like the guy and the executive from Mace today said on an interview on Dubai 103.8, still business as usual.
Business as usual.
Yeah. I mean, even for us, it's business as usual.
You see any issues in the supply chain?
As of now, I've heard that there were not on the raw materials, but I would say primarily in some of the imports that were supposed to come from abroad, because they come to Jabal Ali. So
a lot of construction is dependent on imports.
But they will be rerouted, like I was in Qatar when they had also logistics issues there. And things were just rerouted through Oman. So the same thing will happen here. Obviously, it's going to be a little more expensive and it's going to be a little bit more complicated, but people will find ways to get their materials in. So they can use Saudi from the Red Sea, they can use Oman ports. So it will obviously be rerouted in one way or another.
Even if it's rerouted, the cost of it is going to go more expensive.
Yeah.
That needs to be passed on to the end consumer.
No, because contractors, most of them have lump sum contracts here, so the contracts are fixed.
But then you have those clauses wherein you could
then this
trigger the war situation.
I know, but this falls down to how good of a lawyer you had when you signed the contract. So that's
if you get a lawyer or you increase the price, the cost is essentially increasing for the developer, for the contractor.
Trust me, I've been in construction long enough to tell you that 99% of the time the contract is in favor of the client and you will not be able to get a dime out of it, especially if it's a lump sum fixed contract. So it would be long shot. But then again, this is why you read your contracts and you draft them very carefully for moments like this. Because not everything can qualify as force majeure. By the way, a lot of people thinking they're trying to breach their rental contracts here.
It's not going to happen.
There are specific qualifications for some instance or some incident to occur as or to qualify as force majeure. So it's not as easy.
Well, it was lovely having this conversation with you.
No problem. Anytime.
Thank you for joining us.
Anytime. We'll see you next time, inshallah.
Inshallah. We'll have a detailed conversation on real estate then. Completely, only on real estate.
Inshallah. All right. Thank you, Waseem.
Thank you for joining us today. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next show.